This gentleman that we've got here is responsible for signing some of the biggest names that have ever played for Arsenal. Jerome Anderson is in the building.
Did you feel the change between Arsenal and Wenger?
This is about a man that literally gave his life to Arsenal Football Club. He was always incredibly loyal to his players and to the board.
Was he too loyal?
Charlie introduced me to a 15-year-old David Rocastle.
Oh, wow.
He brought him into my office one day and he went, "Listen, I want you to look after him like a dad." Sorry, every time I speak about David, I find it, even to this day, very, very difficult. I personally take my hat off to the manager and the players. The players needed help in January, not just the fans. I don't know if that story's ever come out.
AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players will be linked with a transfer move for Arsenal.
To AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that be linked with a summer transfer move to Arsenal. Don't forget, if you want to get involved with our sponsors, the links are in the description. If you want the 1-4 scout size, the code is SE50. Get yourself a 50% discount there. The transfer window is closed. Well, at least for a week anyway. It closed yesterday at 7 p.m. I was watching Sky. They were doing their, countdown. I was like, yeah, what's the point? Hardly any teams have done any business. Only really Chelsea and Man City. City got Cherky done yesterday, and a few other deals. But really and truly, it was only for those teams in the Club World Cup. Most of the deals are going to be done throughout the transfer window as normal. It only is closing because of the Club World Cup, and as I said yesterday, it can only open for 16 weeks according to FIFA rules, hence this 1 week break. But all of the rumours and activities continue with, no sort of slowing down right now. Let's start off with Sesko. This is the one that, all Arsenal fans are interested in, that striking position. And caught offside, they are claiming, alongside many other outlets today, that Arsenal getting a bit frustrated with the negotiations for Sesko. And a lot of this is due to RB Leipzig now demanding a fee of around 80 million euros. That's the release clause, which is around 67 million pounds. They're not wanting to budge off of that release clause. Arsenal don't want to pay that release clause. They want to be able to pay it in installments. They want that figure to be a little bit lower than that 67 million pounds. But RB Leipzig at the moment not wanting to budge off this. It's said that Arsenal are seeking a conclusion to this deal as soon as possible and have set a deadline of around about June the 15th for this to be all sorted out. Now, that's only next week, next week, Sunday, or should I say Sunday coming, just before the window then reopens, that they're setting this deadline, according to reports, this one coming from Caught Offside. Is this a hiccup in the deal? Is this something that is going to throw a spanner in the works? We do know that there are Saudi clubs, including Al Hilal, who are interested in signing Sesko as well. But Sesko is said to prefer a move to Arsenal. I still think the likelihood is that this deal will happen, but we're getting now into negotiation stages, and negotiations for a player like this that's in demand is not going to be easy. If Arsenal can't get the deal done to sign Sesko, there are several reports saying that they will turn their attentions back to Victor Gyökeres, that this deal is still not off the cards and should still not be discounted. As I reported on yesterday's show, he's another player that's very upset with his club for holding out for, big demands. At this time, they want 80 million euros. He was said to have an agreement with Sporting for 60 million euros with a possible 10 million in add-ons. They've apparently gone back on this. He's not happy, but he would, weirdly, when you consider his goal-scoring record, be cheaper to buy than Sesko. A lot of that should do with his age. He's 27. Sesko's still only 22. But he would be a cheaper alternative to, I say alternatives, but his goal-scoring record is amazing. But a cheaper alternative to Sesko, going to be interesting that if Sesko did become difficult, would Arsenal turn back to Gyökeres, and would he come? That would be the other thing. And there's a third option, which has been widely reported again, that Arsenal have, and that is Ollie Watkins. Now remember, they tried to go after Ollie Watkins in the January transfer window, wanted to offer around about £40 million. Villa wouldn't budge off of that. They wanted more money, and the deal completely fell through, and he ended up staying. But he's said to be Arsenal's third option if they can't get Sesko or Gyökeres. As I was talking about, I think it was on either yesterday or the show the day before, that Villa, in not making the Champions League, now have issues when it comes to, the players they have, and, they're looking to get rid of a couple of players just to balance the books. Could they let Ollie Watkins go? 29 now, so not a young spring chicken anymore, but said to be the third choice. If Arsenal can't get Sesko or Gyökeres, they would then turn once again to Ollie Watkins. So negotiation times are going on behind the scenes. All every Arsenal fan wants to see is a striker coming in, a good striker as well, that scores lots of goals. Rodrigo's the other player that's been heavily linked with a move to Arsenal, as we know, since the window opened on the 1st of June. He wasn't with the Brazil team yesterday, who beat Paraguay 1-0. Big up to Martinelli, who actually started in that game. But it's interesting, Rodrigo posted a picture yesterday on his Instagram of him training at Real Madrid with the caption, happy. That was the caption, happy. They of course, got the Club World Cup coming up, Real Madrid. There are still doubts, though, over his future. He's said to be set for talks with Xavi Alonso, with the hierarchy at Real Madrid. As we know, he hasn't been starting. He wants to start in that left-wing position. Arsenal, very, very interested. Mikel Arteta said to be very interested in bringing him in at Arsenal. But he's saying on his Instagram post that he's happy. Still a lot to see what happens with that situation. Ideally, he wants to stay at Real Madrid. But if he doesn't get the playing time, will he stay at Real Madrid? And could he be leaving? And plus as well, will they decide to cash in on him? Going to be very interesting to see how that one develops. And we may know a bit more about that over the next week or so. Now, this rumour is a bit of a surprise. Anthony Elanga of Nottingham Forest had a great season last year. Electrifying pace, explosive player, one of the quickest players in the Premier League. When you see him on the counter-attack, he is awesome. According to Boot Room, they claim that Arsenal are interested in the Nottingham Forest winger. He plays on the right wing. As I said, devastating pace, had a really great season. Remember, previously he was at Manchester United, flopped badly at United, but has gone to Forest and really has re-established himself. Quite a few clubs taking a look at him. Newcastle said to be one, several other clubs as well. But Forest would demand around about, well, according to what Boot Room say, Forest would want about £60 million for him. Good luck with that. There's no way anybody's going to pay that. But he is interested in some of the big clubs. And as I said, Arsenal said to be one of those clubs eyeing Anthony Elanga. As I said, when you saw him play last season, he looked devastating, especially on the counter-attack. Another player, which is, again, a bit of a surprise that Arsenal are eyeing, is Marc Guehi of Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace's captain, again, great season, consistently good throughout the season for Crystal Palace. Of course, Crystal Palace won the FA Cup, first ever major trophy they've won in their history, and Marc Guehi was the captain. Still only 24 years of age, was linked with a load of clubs last season that ended up staying. And the reports are saying that after his excellent season, Arsenal amongst several clubs eyeing him with an interest in maybe buying him, including, again, Newcastle, one of those clubs right up there trying to get him. Chelsea have been looking at him as well. The reason why so many clubs are taking a look at Marc Guehi, including Arsenal, because you look at it and say, well, how many more defenders are Arsenal going to get? But then when you look at his situation, he has 1 year left on his current deal. That means next season he can walk away for nothing. That means the clubs are, quite rightly hovering around, seeing if they can get some deal done. Crystal Palace are said to, it's said that they'd accept an offer of around about £40 million for Marc Guehi. As I said, only 1 year left on his current contract. That's very tempting for any club out there, including Arsenal. You look at Arsenal and say, why do you need any more defenders, centre-backs? You've got, Saliba, Gabriel, Kivior, Calafiori can play there. But for a player like that, if he's going on the cheap, with his quality, Arsenal, of course, are going to look at him. The one thing I'd say is, would he move to a club like Arsenal where he wouldn't start over Saliba and Gabriel in a World Cup year? Again, I've said it before, this is going to be really significant for a lot of players, especially a player like Marc Guehi, who's trying to get into that England team. And after watching England in that another poor performance last night when they lost 3-1 against Senegal, he will have a great chance of getting into that England squad for next year's World Cup in America. But if you're not playing, you're not going to get in. So whether he moves, he consider a move to Arsenal that to play second fiddle, I can't see it, but it's one of the rumours today. Leroy Sané as well, caught offside again. They're very prolific today. They're claiming that Arsenal could sign him after the Club World Cup. He's said to have a few offers on the table, including Galatasaray, Fenerbahce, and of course, Bayern are trying to keep him. But they're claiming that Arsenal is the club where he would like to sign. Again, one we're going to have to watch. He could end up staying at Bayern. He really could be a lot of negotiation stuff and skullduggery going on there. But Arsenal have made an inquiry about him. He did work with Mikel Arteta before, and they are very interested. 29 now, but Leroy Sané would be a free. Wouldn't cost, there'd be no fee on it, just high wages, but a lot cheaper than purchasing a player of that quality. Now, what about Martin Zubimendi? It was the big talk yesterday, as I said on the show. Real Madrid, they had that, through their sort of outlet Marca. I call it their outlet because they're so aligned. The big story about Zubimendi and how Real Madrid are putting a call and they're really trying to buy him. But lots and lots of different reports yesterday from David Ornstein to Fabrizio Romano to lots of publications saying, no, this deal's done. He's coming to Arsenal. And it is going to get done. Arsenal going to pay over the £51 million release clause, going to pay it in instalments, and he will be joining Arsenal. Again, let's wait and see, but it's positive, and Zubimendi would be a great signing for Arsenal. So again, one we're going to have to watch. Of course, there'll be no signings during this period of the next 10 days whilst this window's shut. But hopefully, once that window reopens, we'll see some movement on that Zubimendi deal, and that deal can get concluded for Arsenal. Just before I go, we did a poll yesterday. Would you have Alejandro Garnacho of Manchester United at Arsenal? 76% of you said no. You don't want Garnacho. Only 24% said yes. 76% no. No Garnacho for you guys. The people have spoken. Thanks for watching the show today. Don't forget, we are back. Even though the transfer window is closed up until the 16th, we are back every day because the rumours continue. So keep it locked here on AFTV. We'll bring you up to date with all the transfer news, any breaking news. Rumours are going to continue. Activity is going to continue. You just won't see anybody signed in this short period. So thanks for watching the show, and I'll see you tomorrow. Are you a talented footballer with the potential to go all of the way but you've never been spotted or had a trial? Well, all you need to do is check out a brand new innovative business that I've started with my partners called Scouts Eyes. It gives you a chance to get spotted by our network of scouts to try and get you a trial at a professional club. Scouts Eyes places you in front of a professional scout who will assess your talent. You simply need to visit our website right now and upload your clips as directed. Our scouts will then view them and give you a full assessment. If you meet a certain criteria, your details will be sent to scouts at professional football clubs for them to come and see you play. It's as simple as that. So visit scoutseyes.com right now and send in your clips, and a scout could be coming to watch you play at your next game.